is 100% natural. So we're the only ones out there that produce everything with only natural ingredients. So we don't use additives. The second point is that we really believe it's all about taste. It's food after all, so taste is number one, and we're working with a lot of really famous chefs to develop our products and marinades. And then the third point is where you're sitting today. In fact, we do the full value chain. So we're producing in a state-of-the-art factory for food tech nowadays in Europe. So we don't just buy and resell branded, but we actually own everything that we do. So I think these are the 3 USPs. If we manage to get out of this session and you still remember, I think then I did my job right. Okay, let's get started. Almost 6 years ago, in July 2019, when Planted was founded, this was the challenge that our 4 founders had ahead. Those numbers, or let's say reasons, you've heard before, so it's nothing that we invented. But it is a fact that by 2050, we will have more than 10 billion people on the planet, and we don't have enough food to really feed everyone, in particular proteins. So the second one that you can see the images, let's say, we know that besides the food scarcity, we have a real problem on environmental impact. It's mainly driven by how cattle is raised, so industrialized cattle. It's not because the animals need so much space, but because the food that we have to plant to feed the animal is eroding all that place. If you look at this, let's say fatality rates, one of the main drivers is from the heart. So it's driven also by how we eat or how healthy we are. This is Eric, one of our 4 co-founders, and in fact, the very first planted chicken was part of his doctoral thesis at the ETH. Yeah, get much better costs as having a better throughput in the factory. Last but not least, maybe you have heard about this. This was for Europe, the biggest raised Series B for plant-based meat. So we were lucky, I'd say, that this is still September 2022. Afterwards, it became much more difficult for startups and scale-ups out there to raise money to really push food technology. Right now, the market for this type of thing is difficult. Italy always likes to highlight that we've been certified as a B Corp. This is something that resonates a lot with our clients in Italy. Now last year, big milestone is the new steak platform, which I will talk about before. In the beginning, we started with the chicken platform, so it's extrusion based, and now we have fermentation. So it's a big add-on to our technology knowledge. And now, biggest news is 3-4 hours from here, we have now started our second factory. And I think it's the official launch even today or this week. Today.
Are those solar panels?
In the old process, you had the animal, in that case the chicken, eating the plant-based protein. And then it produces protein for the human being when it's dead, so the dead animal meat. The problem with that process is that a chicken that size needs between 3 and 5 times as much food as it generates in protein when it is meat afterwards. With pigs, it's factor 11, and beef, it's even 25 times as much food as the beef afterwards gives you as meat. So in terms of efficiency of resource usage, this old way is much more inefficient when compared to what we're doing nowadays. 1 kilogram plant-based protein in gives you 1 kilogram out. So you're not losing all this plant-based protein on the way. Is to explain. I said before, one of those 3 USPs that we have is that we do everything in terms of value creation. So it means that we're working with companies that collect the raw materials, We then get the extrusion in here, and I'm not going into detail because Valerie will show you the full process afterwards. We then have the two main food technologies where we're specialized in. We're doing cutting based on machines that we have developed ourselves, marinate, and we confectionate. So this is all that we do in-house. So in one summary, we have value creation from, we have our full science team, so we do all the research. We have professional chefs, like you're gonna meet Joelle, and that is our head chef François Poulain, as a French chef. And the side here, well, you're sitting exactly here, and we get to eat it. So it's almost like from farm to table, you get everything in this location by plant.
Kind of a structured piece of meat. You use a scaffold, which is at the moment, for example, from our partner, Israeli partner, they use soy and they use wheat as a scaffold. So you eat then the scaffold when you have the piece of meat. And at the end you have a meat product, which is compared to plant-based, like sensorically, quite near to the original. Nevertheless, expectation management, you will have hybrid products at the beginning. As I said, you use a plant-based scaffolding, even for example a company from the Netherlands where they want only to harvest the cell mass, they told me, they will also, because of cost reasons, they will also add plant-based, let's say proteins to these kind of muscle cells. Because at the beginning the price point will be still high, so you have to find the optimum in new product development. The same thing, you have already startups where you have the mammalian cell, then you have a cell proliferation again in the bioreactor. Then you stimulate the cells in these bioreactors that they kind of produce milk. So you can imagine like the cow with the udder. You have this now in the bioreactor, and at the end you harvest the milk.